Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our BKFC Reddit Ask Me Anything. We're joined by Marcus Bad Intentions Edwards. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Great. I know you're driving a lot this past weekend. You were down there in New Mexico to watch the fight. You really want to fight the winner. The winner was Dave Mundell. Is that? I mean, did you get to talk to Dave at all? Like, did you express your intentions to Dave Feldman? Like, what happened?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to talk to Mondale at all. It would have been nice to, see him face to face, exchange some words. I feel like I lost a lot of respect for him over this last week, and I used to have a lot of respect for him. I liked the guy, like, oh man, this dude, he's a, great fighter. He's the guy I want to fight. But I felt like they avoided me. I feel like, his corner, his coaches, they came and talked their shit to me. So I had a little some a little animosity towards that, but you know I didn't get to talk to him. I think the champ, if the number two ranked dude or one of the ranked dudes shows up and says something, you defend your spot. You know what I mean? You hold it down. You act like the champ. This guy's sitting over there acting like he's God Almighty, talking about he doesn't deserve to fight me. And he made another comment saying, since I'm being disrespectful, he'd never get to fight me. Like what kind of champ is that? It's just crazy to me. As far as Dave, the owner, I got to talk to him. We exchanged some really good words. He said we're gonna put some stuff together, and hopefully this Mondale fight will be what we put together. But he said that they're talking real big things, so let's see what it is. We'll know here in a little bit.
Now, listen, I would love to see you fight Dave Mundell. Dave Mundell does have the 9-1 record, a 10-1 record. So if BKFC does have a big fight against Mike Perry or something like that, I certainly understand. The only other fight to me that makes sense is you got Brennan Ward. He's fighting this upcoming weekend, but I know they're really trying to make a push with him. You're unbeaten, he's unbeaten. Yeah, everybody else in the top five doesn't really make sense right now. Everybody else is coming off losses. I don't know what to do with you. It's one of those, like, I don't want to, like, have you just sit on the shelf for a year because
Yeah.
same thing happened to Bryce Henry. You sit on the shelf, you get old, people forget, and then suddenly there's a new guy. So I don't know if
Yeah.
they give you a stay active fight or what they do. But like I said, I certainly would love to see you fight Mundell, but I would love for you to stay active.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if Mondale doesn't want to fight me, he wants to keep running. I mean, it seems like he's going to try to run from me as long as possible. A couple people did throw Ward at me. I mean, I think Ward's a great fighter, man. I watched him in Bellator. One of my teammates, Brandon Gertz, knows him and is a big fan of his. We watched his first fight and I was excited for it, man. I'm like, he's in my weight class. This is dope. You know what I mean? He's a great, fighter, MMA. I just, I wasn't impressed with his first fight, and I don't know if my expectations of him were so great, and then the performance was just, mediocre. The guy he fought was a trash can. I think he's fighting another 0-0-0 guy. It's like, I don't know. I get like building fighters, but when you got like a Bellator guy coming in, a UFC guy coming in, you give them good fights.
Yeah.
Not easy fights. You give them fights where they're gonna show out and people are gonna push him. And he just hasn't got that. And somebody was saying like, they're saying he's gonna fight you, and the winner of you two fight, Mondale. That doesn't make sense if Mondale's over there crying about me not, having enough fights to fight him. This guy coming in fighting, a trash can and then another 0-0-0 dude. That doesn't make sense. So for me, it's like my next fight is I want the title. You know what I mean? Or I want a bigger name. Than Ward. I just no disrespect to Ward. Like I said, I like the guy. He's a good dude, and I'm sure he's gonna fucking have a phenomenal fight. It's just for me is I'm just looking forward. I'm not looking behind me, and this what's forward is Mike Perry and Dave. So let's make something happen.
It's one of those things, like you said, I completely agree. If you're a big name coming in, if you're fighting for large organizations, you don't need to be fighting a guy who's making a debut. You know what I mean? Like you clearly have and that's what my one critique about it is, like, some of the matchmaking. I wish they wouldn't give like an absolute superstar or somebody who's making a debut to like kind of promote them. But like I also understand like when your first fight in bare knuckle, it is kind of different. So I get the building it a little bit, but I feel like Ward needs to be tested like, against another top 5 guy.
Yeah, like I mean, my first fight was against Jay Jackson. I think at the time he was like 7-2 or something or three.
And he's in the top
For
5. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's top five. You know, it's just funny to me. It's like, yeah, I'm not picking and choosing. They're just telling me who I fight. You know what I mean? I'm not. They're not like, hey, here, Marcus, pick your guy. It's like, hey, this is who you're fighting. Whatever, let's go. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I don't know. Stuff just gets a little sus for me sometimes. I start to think about it, like, you know what I mean. So I'm just focused on getting this fight against Mondale, or I mean Mike Perry. I would love to fight Mike Perry. Who wouldn't? You know what I mean? I think that would be a great fight. I think either of those two dudes I fight, you have a phenomenal fight. You know,
Sure.
if there anybody that's gonna come out there and actually fight me, like those two dudes, that's gonna be a fight of the night. That's gonna be a dog fight. That's gonna be something. That's what they want. You know, that's what they want. Make that happen. You see the way I fight. I come out and I fucking fight from bell to bell, and I'm in your face. You know what I mean? You have two guys doing that. You know that's a phenomenal fight.
The only thing I'll say about Mike Perry is like I've heard several times that he says like, "Hey, I don't want to go back down to 75. I'm at 85, and that's where I feel the best."
Yeah, no, I also heard that as well. So, you know, when I saw the comment he made, like, "Hey, yo, I'll come take your belt, Dave." You know, he did make that comment. So I don't know if he's wanting to come back down, or what's going on with him. I feel like Mike Perry's the guy that he's in that stage where it's like he's here to make money. You know what I mean?
Sure.
He doesn't worry. He's not worried about the belt. He's here to, line his pocket, beat good fighters. You know, he still has that dog. He's still the dog, but he's kind of moved over to that social media era. Fighting YouTubers and stuff like that. You know, that's what those guys do. They start making a lot of money, and that's the route they go. And no no hate towards it. You gotta do what you gotta do, make that fucking money. But at the end of the day, man, I'm here to fight. I'm here to go through battles and wars. Like, I mean, you guys see the way I fight. I come in there to hurt people, and that's what I'm here for.
Let's talk about your hip. Your hip's looking fantastic. You're moving
Yeah.
fantastic. You're dancing in the ring. You're showboating a little bit. Like you look like a new man. You know, it's funny because I just saw that Pat Brady had the exact same surgery you had. He was just in the hospital, and like I said, I sent you his stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's great that you guys are able to get a new hip, and it gives you a second leash on life as being a fighter.
Yeah, man, like I said, it was like a rebirth, and since I got that hip replaced and I start feeling the way I feel, like my first two fights in BK, I was not even a fraction of the man that I am, and I still was running through these dudes, and I was in tremendous pain, in the fights, my hips giving out on me, I'm falling for no reason, and now I mean, I can't even explain it. I feel like I'm 21 again.
Yeah.
I'm fast, I'm quick, my power is just ridiculous because I have the power in my hips to create, you know, and the movement is just ridiculous, and every day I'm getting better. Like, I feel those stages that I'm just conquering every day at practice, so getting my hip replaced was the best thing I've ever done, and I'm kind of upset that I waited so long. People are like, dude, don't, the longer you can wait without getting surgery, it's the best thing, it's the best thing. And I'm like, dude, I wish I would have just did this 5-6 years ago when it first started hurting.
Sure. Okay, so we did get to hang out in Omaha a little bit. You and I got to hang out for a minute after. You are the sweatiest man I've ever met. You are the most disgusting guy to hug. I'm glad I got to hug you because it was a huge win, but I regret it.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is an issue, man. Anybody in my life that like hangs out with me, I'm sweating right now, and the air conditioner's on. Like anybody that goes out, I love to dance, man. Like, that's my thing. I love to go out and enjoy myself and express myself through dance. But man, do I sweat. I have to bring like 2 or 3 shirts just in case. Like, you know what I mean? As a kid, I used to be so like self-conscious about my sweat. Like, I didn't want to do anything because I'm like, man, people are gonna think I'm disgusting because I sweat so much. But now that I'm a fighter, it works out with like my weight cuts and being in the ring and whatnot.
So, that Dakota Cochran fight, you guys had fought before. Did it go exactly how you had thought? Like I had interviewed you both before the fight. Look, I really like Dakota, but he almost seemed like he kind of knew like it was not going to be a great fight for him.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch that interview, but a couple of my teammates watching, they're like, "Man, it seems like you're already in that guy's head." And I'm like, "No, Dakota's a tough motherfucker.
Sure,
You never know with Dakota. Like his demeanor and the way he holds himself is just so flatlined. You're like,
sure.
you don't really know. So like for me, I prepared for a war. I was expecting a war. I was expecting to go at least 3 or 4 rounds. You know what I mean? And I know he hits hard and I know he's powerful, but at that weight class, I mean, a lot of the guys we all hit hard. You know what I mean? So I expected to go in there and come out with some bruises. I mean, I've had 4 fights now, and I haven't really been touched. You know what I mean? None of these guys, no black eyes, no cuts, none of this stuff. So I was expecting to come out of there with some battle wounds, but God blessed me with a beautiful fight, and I can't complain. I can't complain.
So you're a guy who finally got a fight outside Colorado. You fought in Omaha, but I also know you're from are you from California, right? Like, how important
Yeah.
would it be to be like? Is that a fight you want to do? Is you want to go back to California?
Oh,
You want to go to Florida? Like, you want to get out of Colorado, right?
yeah, man. I mean, I love fighting in Colorado, but I have like 36 fights or 40 fights almost. I've never fought in California. And I mean, I have friends, family, I mean, people like, man, when you fight here, like, we're coming, I mean, it'd be good to just be the hometown guy, and have the 200, 300 people there from my childhood, from my teams, from all the sports I played, from my family to, people that I've just ran into that follow me now out there. My following is ridiculous from California. So, that's always been kind of a dream of mine, but it's just never, it's never been able to happen. I've tried to get it with BK a while ago. They were out there, and we just couldn't we couldn't get a guy pinned down to fight. But yeah, that would be the ultimate for me to fight at home. Like I say, I fight at home when I'm in Colorado, but it's like my the home is like fight family. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Home for California is like friends and teachers, coaches, the family friends. Like that would be something that I want, hopefully maybe this year or, early next year would be nice.
Okay, so you're a guy who's actually looked better and better. Like you and Coach Jake have clearly got it down. Is it almost a curse because look, you took the number one guy and you demolished him in less than a round? Who wants to fight you? If I'm in the top five, like I don't want, like that's another L. Is it almost a curse that you're so good now?
Oh man, no, I don't think so. I think it's everything is as it's supposed to be, and I think it's the next guy is Mondale. I think
Right.
that's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be anybody else, It's supposed
But
to
he
be
doesn't want to fight
Mondale.
you.
Yeah, but for some reason he's ducking me. His coaches are making up excuses for him why he shouldn't fight me. I just never experienced anything like this in my life with any champion, running from somebody, and his actually camp is like supporting him, like, oh, like, no, like, he has bigger things. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm the next guy in line. I beat the guy that was supposed to fight him decisively, nowhere near close. He didn't even touch me he didn't hit me one time in the fight. So
Right.
I just think that it is as it's supposed to be. And then once I have that strap on around my belt, that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be afraid to fight the champion, you know? And or you get those guys like me that are like, fuck you, I want to take his head off. You know what I mean? And those are the guys I want to fight. And I don't know why Mundell wouldn't want to fight that. He's been crying for the last 2 years. Oh, bums, nobody wants to fight me. Da da da. You clearly have somebody that has the skills, that has the heart, the mind, and I'm not a guy that just came off of the streets and started boxing a year ago. I've
Sure.
fought some of the toughest in the world. I fought the Justin Gaethje, the Pat Healy, all the Diego Alves. I fought these guys. I'm not some slouch off the road that's been boxing in someone's backyard and was like, I'm gonna do this bare knuckle shit, man, and then start starching dudes. Like, no, I do this. I've been doing this. You know what I mean? And I took 4 years off, so people forgot about me, and I came back, and and my hip was still bothering me, but this is what took me and led me into the path of BK, and I think I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I think he's just a roadblock, and I feel and I know he knows, and his team knows I'm a dangerous fight for him. He
Sure.
doesn't win this. Only way he wins this is if somehow something happens to me in camp, and I fight injured or something, you know. But there's no way I go in there and I fight my best fight and he fights his best fight. My style and who I am beat him every time. I don't see him beating me. And I know they have that fear. That's why they're trying to put it off. He beats Mike Perry. Mike Perry's style is flat-footed. It's the style that Mondale wants to fight. He wants to fight this guy that's going to stand in front of him and take strikes. I'm
Sure.
not going to stand in front of you and let you hit me. I'm going to hit you. You're not going to hit me. And when you think you're going to hit me, I'm going to be hitting you. So, it's a dangerous fight, and they know it.
Okay, so you watched clearly Mundell looked really good against Sanchez, but I also thought Sanchez didn't quite look himself. I don't know what
He
it
didn't look
was, but
himself.
he had a bad night. Have you ever had those fights where like you just like the other guys either Dave was just that much better or Donald just didn't have a great night?
What I saw, man, I saw Donald get hit early, and I feel like he got hurt early, and the recovery process, and the fear of getting hit by the hook that Mondale kept throwing at him, because he started running away from his hook and going into his power side, which you don't do that. And he started to do that. So it told me that he was worried about the hook. He was worried about getting hit again and getting a flurry. That happens sometimes when you're in the game. You get hit by something, you're like, oh, I don't want to get hit by that again. You start making adjustments. Sometimes they're not the right ones. Sometimes you're just acting out of the feeling and emotion of the fight. And I just feel he had a bad fight. We've all been there. I've been there. Like, yo, throw a jab. Throw a jab, throw a jab, throw a jab. Now, now, now. It's like, damn,
Yeah.
like, why can't I just throw that jab? We have those fights. It doesn't matter if you're a veteran or not. Sometimes that shit happens, and you take it, and you get back in the gym, and you come back better. And I think he's gonna do that. I just think he had a bad fight, and I think if he fought his best fight, it would have been different. Every time he touched Mondel's legs, you can see he was like, um, so yeah, I just think he had a bad fight, and he couldn't put a combo together. I think he was more or less fighting himself mentally than he was fighting Dave, and Dave capitalized on it. Kudos to him, but I wasn't impressed because I know Sanchez didn't fight his best fight.
Sure.
So if you go out there and you're fighting a guy that isn't fighting his best fight, can't get strikes off, making bad movements, going the wrong way, you should fight your best fight if you're the champ. You should come out like that. Like, let's just be real, you know?
All right, listen, you're a man of few words. You want the champ. I feel like that is a fight to make. Like I said, I don't know who else they give you, but you're clearly the number one guy at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see. Dave hasn't fought for almost a year, so I hope they don't leave him inactive again. I hope he either give him the Perry fight and give you a stay busy fight, and then the winner of that fight, or give you Mundell. If Mike has no interest in fighting Mundell, then hopefully you get him.
Yeah, man. Yo, I'm totally fine with that. If they give him if they do Mondale Perry fight, have me on the same card. Have me on the
Sure.
same card. Give me another fucking guru guy. Another good dude. Main event, and then have us see each other at the end of the fight. Whoever wins, bring me in,
Sure.
and have me, do the standoff. I don't mind doing that. Let's do it. Let's build the fight. That's what we're supposed to do. But Mondale, he's like this weird champion that doesn't talk, doesn't say nothing. He's boring. Like, I don't understand. Like, they ask him things. He's like, "Oh, ask my coach. Oh, we're gonna do this. Oh, ask Dave." It's like, bro, you're the champ, bro. You start talking, man. You say what you feel. You know what I mean? You got all these other guys talking for you. It's just weird to me. So I think either he fights Mike, and then the winner I get to fight, or he fights me. I don't see anything else in my eyes. I don't.
All right, man. Listen, I'm good with that. Like, that makes sense to me. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to fit you on real quick. Like, I know that's a long ass drive from Albuquerque to Denver. So kudos for
Yeah.
you having enough energy to come on the show afterwards.
Yeah, no, I literally drove out there, watched the fights for 3 hours, and got right back in my car and drove back.
People
So
people don't understand. That's what I did to Omaha. It's an 8 hour drive to Omaha, and then this
yeah.
weekend we're going out there to watch the Ice Wars. I'm gonna go see Kamosi, and it's a 7 hour drive.
It's gonna be
Just
dope.
jump in, drive, and drive back.
Yeah.
Like I love to
Yeah,
drive.
that's the name of the game, baby. That's what makes it awesome, those little side quests you go on,
Cool. All right, man. Thanks so much. Is there any message for Mundell or Perry or anybody before we call it?
Yeah, man. My message is for Mondale, man. Mike Perry don't want to fight you. You got a guy right in front of you. Sign it. Sign it. Let's fight. Let's make it happen. You know what I mean? Stop with all the crying about the disrespect and the don't deserve anything. I'm right here. Let's get it.
Is this a fight you think needs to take place in the States or like Italy or Dubai or one of those
Yo,
big ones?
they're saying there's the fight in Rome, and they said it's gonna be like by the Coliseum or in the Coliseum or something. Yo, I would love to fight him, there,
Two gladiators.
anywhere really. Overseas,
Yeah.
I'll fight him in his backyard. I think that's better. I like being the underdog. I like going in there and starching the guy that everybody wants to win. So go ahead, put me in his backyard. I'll fight him in his bedroom. You know what I mean? Let's make it happen, dude. I fought people in worse places. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
I'll fight that guy anywhere.
All right, man. Thanks so much for your time. Look forward to it and have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, brother.
Bye.